Hey guys, welcome to this lecture. So today we are going to discuss about the Prisma Access. That is another cloud-based security solution from Palo Alto Networks, just like Zscaler, right? So in this video, we are going to discuss about the challenges we have inside traditional networking, and we are going to discuss about the service edge, secure access service edge, that is your SASE. We are going to discuss about Prisma Access definitions. What do you understand by certain definitions in Prisma Access? Then we are going to discuss about Prisma Access components, and we will be comparing different licenses we have inside Prisma Access and what is the shared ownership model we have from Palo Alto Networks. So who is going to honor what, right? This is what we will be covering here. So starting with your traditional networks, what are all the challenges we have, right? And why industry is moving towards the cloud-based security solutions, be it Zscaler or Prisma or Netscope, right? So when we talk about traditional networks, what used to happen? We used to have our data centers, right? Let's say an organization is having three, four data centers. So data center one, data center two, right? DC2. So you have your DC, you have your DR, right? DC3, and respectively you have their DRs, their backup locations. Okay. So now what used to happen? Uh, let's say we have multiple branches across the globe, right? So they all are connected through either MPLS cloud. You have connectivity to all these sites through MPLS cloud, and secondary link you are using as internet. So your primary link is MPLS, secondary link is internet, and over internet you are using SD-WAN, not SD-WAN, IPsec overlays, right? So you are using IPsec overlays to connect to your data centers, right? And if you have your remote users, your RAVPN users, they are using some sort of VPN adapters to connect to the data centers so that they can access the internal you know applications. And if they want to go through the if they want to access something on internet, so their internet traffic is also going through the data center, because you have implemented the entire security stack on your data center, and it is enforcing the policies, and then traffic is going over the internet. So additionally you are I mean, you are just backhauling the traffic. User experience, they are facing latency, because first traffic is going to the data center and then it is going towards the internet, right? Similarly for branches as well, you are backhauling their internet traffic. Traffic is coming to the data centers, data center is applying the security policies, and from there it is going over the internet, right? And if they want to access something internal, then it is going via MPLS. So this is how we used to do this network segmentation, pre-pandemic. But what happened during pandemic and what is happening after pandemic is, now things are totally different. So applications are moving on cloud, you know, SaaS based applications are there. So now perimeter is everywhere. You cannot secure a particular location or perimeter, because these days your perimeter is everywhere. So you have a SaaS provider, right? Your SaaS applications are running. You have your public clouds, be it AWS and your Azure, GCP, right? You have your regional branches, branch 1, branch 2, branch 3, and so on, right? Similarly, you have your mobile users working from home, working from anywhere. You don't know what is their location, right? Your mobile users. Then you have your private data centers, right? So now your perimeter is everywhere, and internet is becoming the new connectivity. People are decommissioning MPLS and they are using internet as a communication between all these entities, right? Now, since internet is a public resource, right? How can you secure your communication over internet? Because you cannot apply a single security stack at given point of location, right? Because your workforce, your resources are scattered now, right? Few applications running inside the private data center, few applications running on the public clouds, right? You're using SaaS applications as well, like Office 365, Salesforce. You have multiple branches spread across the globe. Your mobile users are moving from one location to another location. So the best solution to secure the entire new era of network is cloud-based security solution. So use cloud-based security solution to safeguard your resources, right? Now, cloud-based security solution, we have different vendors. We have Zscaler, which is leading the market right now. We have Palo Alto Prisma, and in this course, we are especially going to discuss about Access, Prisma Access. Then we have Netscope, right? We have, Velo Cloud. This has been launched recently, right? So similarly, every service provider, they are launching their own, uh, complete bundle of SASE, because SASE is a framework where it stands for networking plus security. So if you go by the Gartner report, so SASE stands for networking plus security. In networking, you have SD-WAN, and in security, you have secure service edge, SSE nodes, right? So when we talk about SD-WAN, we have players like Cisco Viptela, we have Meraki from Cisco, and SSE from Cisco, you can use Umbrella. So this is like one vendor solution where you can implement the complete SASE framework, because SASE is a long journey and digital transformation doesn't happen in just we in just a few months, right? It is a complete journey, and we need to transform the entire network by slowly moving things. Similarly, from Palo Alto, you have Prisma SD-WAN, and for SSE, you have Prisma Access. So again, a complete vendor solution if you don't want to go with the mix and match, right? And I mean, you are using Cisco SD-WAN and then you are using Zscaler. So these integrations are also possible. So earlier, you know, these integrations were taking place, but now every vendor is launching their complete solution. Similarly, from Velo Cloud, VMware, you have their SD-WAN solution, and now they have also launched their secure service edge, right? So they have also introduced this security piece. Similarly, you have Zscaler. So Zscaler as of now doesn't have any SD-WAN module. So Zscaler is not having any SD-WAN solution as of now, right? So you need to use any other vendor, like you can use Versa, you can use Silver Peak, you can use Cisco, you can use Fortinet, right? And then you can use Zscaler Cloud for security. Similarly, we have Fortinet SD-WAN, and we have Fortinet security, cloud-based security. So these, are the vendors which are working on SASE, and they are trying to provide you the complete services which falls under SASE, because it is not just SD-WAN and secure service edge. Inside secure service edge, you get services like DLP, you get CASB, Cloud Access Secure Broker, you get firewall as a service, right? You get ZTNA framework. Now again, Zero Trust Network Access is another framework, where we need to ensure that we are following all the, mandates from the framework, and we have implemented the solution as per the guidelines, right? So this is another framework which is part of SSC only. So these are the services, and we do have multiple services here, right? Like you get your threat protection, right? URL filtering and other features also, right? So these are the services which falls under secure service edge, and inside networking you have SD-WAN, right? So you will see SASE is a very broad term, and why it is in the picture these days, reason being that your resources are scattered. These days you are not putting everything in a single umbrella. Everything is scattered. You have multiple SaaS resources, you have multiple uh, public private cloud combinations, your private data centers, multiple branches scattered all over. You're not using MPLS as your dedicated primary link anymore. Your mobile users are scattered. You're allowing your vendors to connect, right? So multiple things are happening, and to give security to all of these resources, you need a cloud-based security solution, because your traditional security is not going to work. You cannot place entire security stack on each and every location. Even if you're trying to backhaul the traffic which people did during pandemic, when they were not prepared, and when the entire workforce went on working from home model. So their VPN concentrators used to face high traffic volume, due to which their resources were depleting, and users were facing latency, and a lot of issues organizations have faced, right? So during pandemic, industry has realized the potential of the cloud security, and now industry has started moving towards the cloud security. And as per Gartner's report, by 2024, at least 80% of the industry will move towards cloud-based security solution. So right now, if you're working as a network security professional, as an endpoint security professional, it's the right time to invest in cloud security, so that you can secure yourself for next 10 to 15 years, because now cloud security is not going to, it's not going to be replaced any soon, right? It will be there in this in the environment for next 10 to 15 years. Now it will evolve, and you will see new vendors coming in, new versions coming in. So right now we started with ZTNA 1.0, now we have ZTNA 2.0, so these frameworks will become more specific, new guidelines will be added. So similarly, you will see more advancements, more features, and you can see that in next 10 to 15 years, you will have job security. Okay. So now, if we talk about the problems with the traditional security approach, so what were the major problems? So it was like non-agile operations, right? And inconsistent security posture. So inconsistent security posture, right? And high operational cost, and poor user experience. So these were the major challenges with your traditional security approach. Poor user experience. You can overcome these challenges by using cloud-based security solutions just like Prisma Access. Or you can, implement the SASE framework. So when we talk about the secure access service edge, what do you mean by that? You know, how can you implement, how can you design your entire journey towards the SASE? Because it is not going to happen in just one day, right? It will be like months of planning and implementation, and then you are going to digitally transform your entire network. So when we talk about secure access service edge, SASE, so you will be having your base layer where your actual resources are going to be there, like your branches, right? Your mobile users working from home, your data centers, right? So not data centers, do not place data centers here. So mobile users, branches, vendors, contractors, okay? So they want to access your applications, your internal applications. They want to go to SaaS applications, they want to go to public cloud, they want to go to internet. So now how you're going to safeguard them, right? So what you're going to do in your SASE journey, you will implement two layers. First layer is your SD-WAN. So we call it network as a service. Network as a service. If you don't want on-premise solution, you can use this network as a service layer that is from Palo Alto, right? You can use their Prisma SD-WAN feature. Then we have security as a service, your second layer, security as a service. This is your layer number two. So first your traffic will hit this layer, and from there it will go to security layer where you have a firewall as a service, you have zero trust network access, you have a secure web gateway, you have CASB solution in place, you have DLP, right? And many more services running in the security layer. From security layer, then you will be accessing your SaaS applications, your public clouds, right? And internet, right? Your data centers. So this is going to be your new traffic flow. So basically, whatever you're trying to access, it is getting filtered by these two layers, your network as a service layer and your security as a service layer. And that's the reason cloud-based security is best to safeguard the entire workforce and resources, because it is going to combine wide area networking and security services into cloud delivered converged solution. It is going to reduce the complexity, right? And it will provide consistent security for all users and locations. So this is what your SASE is, secure access service edge. Now moving towards Prisma Access solution, what Prisma is going to offer you. So Prisma Access offers, so this is your Prisma Access cloud, right? And we have discussed two layers. One layer is your network as a service layer. So here you will be getting Prisma SD-WAN option. You can use this. You can use IPsec VPN. You can use SSL VPN. You can use generic SD-WAN. If you have any other vendor, you can use that. You can use clean pipe. Now this clean pipe is for the managed service providers who is managing networks for other customers. We'll discuss about this. And then you have clientless VPN. So these are the options available at your network layer. When we talk about security as a layer, security as a service, at this layer you have SSL decryption, you have user ID feature, app ID, threat, wildfire, URL filtering, you have Cortex XDR for endpoints, XDR, you have Prisma SASE, and you have DLP. So these are the features available from Prisma at security layer, right? So let me just make some space. Yeah. So now you can see. So these two layers offers these many services. Now it depends upon your licensing, obviously, what sort of licenses you have bought. We'll discuss this in more detail now. So this is what Prisma Access is offering in terms of SASE. So various services offered as a security in security layer and various services offered in network layer, right? So when we talk about Prisma Access, it has global presence and we have 100 plus locations of Prisma Cloud in 76 countries, which covers everything. Although this is less in comparison to Zscaler, Zscaler initially was having 155, but now they have added more data centers, so they are going to touch 200 by the end of this year. So although this is half as compared to Zscaler, but it is also growing, right? So Prisma is also having global presence. Similarly, when we talk about the Prisma definitions, what is the basic requirement you need to onboard your networks, users, right? So there is one term in Prisma Access which is service infrastructure subnet. So basically, what you need to do is before onboarding your mobile users or remote networks, you need to define this service infrastructure subnet because this is what will be used in your backbone routing of the Prisma cloud. So if you have your cloud like this is your Prisma cloud, Prisma access. So for backbone routing, so that your branches can communicate, your users can communicate, you need one service infrastructure subnet, right? And this subnet should be always 23/23. I mean, see, it's like it depends upon your environment. If you have sites less than 50, right, and you have 2000 users, then you can go with /24. If you have sites almost 100 and slight more and 5000 users, you can go with /23. But if you have more number of sites, right, then this sizing needs to be discussed by the system engineer from Palo Alto because he can guide you with the subnet range. So as an example, let's say I'm going to take this as my service infrastructure subnet. Okay. So this is going to create the network backbone for Prisma Access, which will allow the connectivity. So basically it is an extension of your existing network and you need to make sure that it cannot overlap with existing corporate subnets. Okay. So this is what you need to make sure. Moving to the next definition which we have inside Prisma is service connections. So what do you understand by service connections? So basically Service connections are going to give you access to your internal applications which are hosted inside your data centers, right? So let's say you have your data center here, and definitely you would be having a security firewall here in your data center, right? So from that particular firewall, you will be establishing a tunnel. Let me make cloud here, right? This is your Prisma Access Cloud. So basically, what you will be doing, you will be establishing one service connection from Prisma Access towards this particular on-premises firewall. We call it service connection. This service connection is unmetered. Palo Alto is not going to charge for your data in and data out, basically your byte transfers. So this is unmetered connection. So you would need a device which can establish IPsec tunnel. So be it firewall or router, you need to make sure that an IPsec tunnel can be formed with SCCAN, SCCAN node, which we have inside Prisma Access Cloud. So SCCAN node is stands for Service Connection Corporate Access Node. So between this node and your on-premises device, you need to establish the IPsec tunnel. This is unmetered connection. IPsec tunnel is the requirement, and this is not going to enforce, this particular node here is not going to enforce any sort of inspection. So the traffic flow between here to here will be uninspected. The reason being that the traffic flow direction would be like this. Packets will come from here, connections initiated from Prisma towards your data center. I mean, you must be having your remote networks which are connected through Prisma Cloud, your mobile users, and if they are trying to access any resource within the data center, then the traffic flow direction will be like this. If data center would like to go over the internet, right, that connection is not allowed. So if packets are coming from here, and if they want to go to internet or something like that, that connection is not allowed. It is only allowed for your remote networks and mobile users to access the internal applications, and that is the reason no inspection is happening. Because in Prisma we have two zones. One is trust, another one is untrust. And this communication falls under trust zone. We will discuss more about it later on. So this communication falls under trust zone. So packets coming in from the trust zone going towards the trust, no inspection is required. Because what Palo Alto says that in your data center, definitely you will be having some sort of security stack available. So filter it out over there. I'm not going to filter it out for you. I'm just providing you the connection so that you can access your data center applications with the help of this service connection. So basically we are using this service connection or corporate access node to route the traffic and to redistribute the user IDs. These are the two main things we will be doing with the help of this service connection. So now comes your remote networks, right? So in your compute location, you're going to spin up the service connection just to provide access to your internal applications, to your remote networks and mobile users. Similarly, when we talk about remote networks, we do offer RNSPN nodes. Now these nodes are remote network security processing nodes. So as name suggests, they are going to do the inspection for you. And these connections are metered connections. You will be charged. Although in the new Prisma version, Whatever bandwidth you are purchasing, that is shared bandwidth. I mean, if any particular, let's say you have bought 500 Mbps from Palo Alto Networks, one branch is using only 100 Mbps, so you're left with 400 Mbps. Another branch can be allocated with 300 Mbps, and now you're left with 100 Mbps. Then third branch can be deployed with this number. This was not there in initial versions. It was like if you are getting with the 500 or let's say 200 Mbps links, so all branches will be provided with 200s. So by this way, for three branches, you need 600 aggregated bandwidth. This is what used to there earlier, but now it is flexible. As per your requirement, you can onboard your branch with the provided bandwidth, whatever is required, right? So now these are your metered connections and you will be charged. So your infrastructure will look like this. This is your branch location, right? This is your Prisma Access Cloud. That is your compute location. So you will be having RNSPN node here, which is your remote network security processing node. So you need not to spin these nodes. Basically what happens whenever you're onboarding your remote networks, the orchestrator there within the Prisma Cloud is going to spin up this node for you. And then you will be provided with the public IP details and you can establish your tunnel between your branch towards this RNSPN node. And once your tunnel is established, you can start sending the traffic, right? If you want to reach out to your database, I mean data center applications, that you can do. But if you want to go over internet, you can send your traffic towards this. It will do the inspection for you as well, right? So these are metered connections, and we can onboard the remote networks like this. Okay, now the next part is inside security processing node is we use these nodes to terminate your VPN tunnels and do the inspection on your traffic from the remote sites, right? As I said earlier, these nodes will be deployed automatically when you are going to onboard the remote network, right? For existing Palo Alto customers, Palo Alto recommends that you use Panorama to manage your Prisma Access service. But if you are a new customer, then they have also provided you the portal through which you can do this configuration. So from your Panorama, if you are an existing customer, from your Panorama, you can you need to install one plugin, cloud plugin, which we will see in the labs. So you need to install that particular plugin, and after that you will be able to start managing your Prisma Access service. So when you're onboarding your remote network, right, any branch, then during that time, the orchestrator there within the Prisma Access is going to spin up this RNSPN node for you. This RNSPN node is nothing but a Palo Alto's virtual firewall. Okay, so this is nothing but a Palo Alto virtual firewall which will be spinned for you by the orchestrator, right? So that you can establish your IPsec tunnel and you can start sending the traffic. So these are like a full tolerant design within each location, which is going to provide you the high availability. So if this is the node which has been spinned for you, there will be backup node as well within the cloud, which is available for you. So in case primary goes down, then this backup will start processing your traffic, right? So we do have backup RNSPN nodes and we do have primary RNSPN nodes which are going to do the processing. By default, NAT is enabled. So whatever traffic is coming, and if you want to go over internet, it will be NATed by the RNSPN node. So there is no need for explicit NAT policies now. When we talk about portal, right? So if you're not an existing customer, you don't have Panorama, then Prisma also offers portal, just like Zscaler portal. So in that portal, you can do the configuration for your mobile users, your remote networks. I mean, you can manage that particular Prisma access through that particular portal, right? So they are also providing that feature. But they recommend if you are an existing customer, please use Panorama. Now moving to the next definition, that is mobile user security processing node, and we call it MUSPN, mobile user security processing node. So basically what happens, let me just make some space here. Yeah. So basically what happens, let's say this is your Prisma Access Cloud, Prisma Access, right? Let me just small the size. Yeah. So now you have SECAN nodes for your service connections with the data center, right? This is how you are connected to your data center DC with service connection, right? And SCCAN node is there to terminate that tunnel. For remote networks, you have RNSPN nodes. Let me use red color here. You have RNSPN nodes to terminate your tunnels from branches, branch 1, branch 2, right? And you're terminating your tunnels on RNSPN nodes. This is unmetered connection. Palo Alto is not going to charge anything, but these are metered connections. Similarly, you have MUSPN nodes, mobile user SPN nodes. So basically, these nodes will give connectivity to your mobile users. So if your mobile users, let's say these are the users in APAC region, and we have these users in EMEA region. So with the help of these MUSPN nodes, your users will get access. Mobile users will get access to your internal applications as well as whatever resources they want to access. If they want to go over the internet, their traffic will hit the MUSPN node. From there, it will, do the inspection and it will go to the internet. If they want to access any resource inside a remote network, I mean in the branch, then it will hit the MUSPN, then it will go to the RNSPN, and from there it will come down to the branch. If they want to go to DC, it will first come to MUSPN, then it will go to STCAN, and from there it will go to the DC. So this is how your complete fully meshed connection has been done inside the Prisma Access infrastructure. You need not to do anything. It is by default done when you onboard your, when you define your service, infrastructure subnet. So this routing is already handled by Prisma Access in the backbone, right? So this backbone routing is already done for you. So your users can communicate from any location, right? It is just that you need certain sort of licensing for that. So we are going to discuss about it. If you want to allow the interconnect communication, you need licensing for that. Okay. So when we talk about MUSPN, so it is the evolution of the Global Protect Gateway, right? So if you are familiar with the Palo Alto network firewall, we used to have gateway, we used to have portal. So this MUSPN is nothing but that particular Global Protect Gateway only. So another Palo Alto VM. Okay. So this MUSPN is the termination point for mobile user VPN tunnels to connect to Prisma Access Cloud, right? And we also call them GPCS users. Okay, so you also hear this term in your customers environment, or if you are managed service provider MSSP, so you will keep on hearing this term that my GPCS user, create policy for GPCS users. So whenever we are referring to GPCS users, it is nothing but mobile users. and their traffic will be processed by MUSPN node. Now, another definition which we have inside Prisma Access is Cloud Secure Web Gateway. So we also call it SWG, Secure Web Gateway. And since it is a cloud-based security, so we call Cloud Secure Web Gateway. So what happens? Let's say this is your Prisma Cloud, right? Prisma Access Cloud. You have SCCAN nodes, you have RNSPN, you have MUSPN, right? But you want to quickly secure your resources because right now you are a new customer, you have not rolled out Global Protect to your mobile users, and you want to enforce security as soon as possible so that if they are accessing any SaaS application, so that traffic should go via Prisma. If they are accessing your public clouds, that traffic should go through Prisma. If they are accessing internet, that traffic should go through Prisma. Any data center, headquarters, the traffic should go through Prisma Cloud. So without rolling out Global Protect end client to their machines or any branch without onboarding their network, how can you easily enforce security, right? So with the help of secure web gateway, cloud secure web gateway, what do? You roll out pack files. These proxy auto configuration files tells your user machine to forward traffic towards this particular node. Now be it mobile user, be it branch user, if their machines are configured with pack file, they will automatically forward the packets towards this secure web gateway. Now this secure web gateway is another VM of Palo Alto. It is going to do the processing of your traffic, it will do the inspection, and then it will forward it as per the destination, wherever it is going. So use cases, it's like, when you want to quickly roll out this service in your infrastructure and you're still designing the main backbone of the traffic forwarding. So to quickly enforce security, if you are under attack or it's like your users are scattered, you can use this feature and you can just, with the help of the pack file, you can get the traffic on the Prisma cloud, and from there it can forward it to the respective destination. And meanwhile, you can do your planning and implementation, and then you can onboard your network, remote networks. You can onboard your mobile users, and then you can use these respective nodes like SCCAN, RNSPN, MUSPN to do the inspection and handle your traffic. So this is what your secure web gateway is. Now we have one interesting definition in Prisma Access, that is your interconnect. What do you understand by interconnect, right? So let's say you have multiple locations, right? And multiple data centers are there. Okay. So let's say if I'm having my public cloud, this is my public cloud, right? I'm having my data center here, DC. These are my private networks. Okay, my private applications are hosted. Similarly, you have internet where your users will be accessing uh, internet as well as your SaaS applications and normal internet surfing they will be doing, right? So you have service connections with your clouds and data centers. Okay, so these service connections are there. Similarly, You have your compute locations, right? Where you have onboarded your RNSPN nodes, your MUSPN nodes, okay? And you are providing wildfire, threat protection, DNS, URL filtering, all these services. So whenever traffic is going towards these destinations, your nodes are providing security to them. So these are your compute locations, okay? Now, question comes, let's say I'm mobile user, okay? I'm connected through this. I'm a branch user. I'm connected through this. If, let's say we have one more RNSPN node here. So we have two branches, one mobile user. I'm just taking an example. And this is another branch user. So branch 1, mobile user 1, branch 2, and this is my data center. So now, if this user wants to communicate with this user, or if this user wants to communicate with this user, let's say this is not user, this is a server in your branch, and if this user would like to access this particular server, so this communication will be direct. Similarly, if this branch to branch communication needs to take place, this is direct, right? For such communications, you need interconnect license. So basically what will happen, your packets, let's say this user is accessing this server, so packets will come to MUSPN, from there it will go to RNSPN, and from there it will be delivered to your server. Similarly, if it is going from this branch to this branch, so your packet flow will be like this, right? So to allow this communication, you would need interconnect license. So it is going to allow remote network to remote network connectivity and mobile user to network remote network connectivity. This is what it is going to allow. And service connections are by default is from like this. I mean, your users can go to your data centers and private applications by using the service connection. So if this user would like to access any private application, so a packet will flow like this. From here, it will be routed like this. Similarly, this branch user would like to communicate, it will go like this, right? So this is already allowed, but for branch to branch communication and from user to branch communication, you would need interconnect license. I hope this is clear now. So moving to the next, there is a Palo Alto Networks Hub. Basically, it is a web portal, that is apps.paloaltonetworks.com, where they have provided you all the cloud applications. You can also download the cloud plugin for your panorama from here, right? So everything is there. This is the centralized location to access all cloud applications. Your Cortex data lake is there. I mean, whatever cloud applications are available, you can go through them with the help of this particular portal. So portal URL is apps.paloaltonetworks.com. So basically, you're going to have directory sync service, Prisma Access app, cloud-based management, Cortex data lake, enterprise DLP, lifecycle security review, Prisma SaaS, Prisma SD-WAN. All these services you can, get it from here. And it is going to also provide you Prisma Access Insights, your autonomous digital experience manager, ADEM, right? And this is what it is included inside the Prisma Access app. Okay. And moving to the next component, the next terminology which you will use in Prisma, that is your trusted and untrusted zones. So by default, Prisma is going to divide your traffic between two zones, that is trusted and untrusted zones, right? So this is your internet here. This is your Prisma Access cloud, and this is here you have branch, multiple branches are there. You have mobile users, you have data centers, you have another mobile user set, you have another branch, right? So by default, what Prisma is going to do, this will be categorized as trusted zone from Prisma standpoint. And this particular zone will be classified as untrusted. Okay. So whatever traffic is coming from these locations towards internet, so Prisma Access is there in between, and it is going to give you the security to your users when they are accessing internet or any internet based service. So your traffic movement is from trust to untrust. So similarly, if you are coming, your any user is trying to coming from untrust towards the trust, then you need a specific policy. Okay, so these are the two zones Prisma is going to create for you. So is either classified as trusted or untrusted. So external traffic to or from the internet is assigned to untrusted zone, and internal traffic is assigned to trusted zone. Okay. So now let's discuss about the Prisma Access components. So the very first component is Cortex Data Lake. So when we talk about components, so the very first thing we have is Cortex Data Lake. So these nodes, whatever we have studied so far, your RNSPN, MUSPN, right? They are going to forward the logs towards your Cortex Data Lake. So basically what is happening, let's say you have your branch. This is your branch. It is sending the entire traffic to Prisma Access Cloud. From there, it is going over the internet or wherever it is going, SaaS application, wherever. So whatever node is doing the processing, that node is going to forward the traffic, forward the logs towards Cortex Data Lake. Okay. And from here, you can get these logs on your on-premises panorama. So RNSPN, MUSPN, whosoever is doing the processing for your traffic, they are going to forward the logs towards the Cortex data lake. We need to do this configuration. And from there, you can forward them towards your on-premises panorama. Okay. So basically, Prisma Access logs must be sent to the Cortex data lake via log forwarding profiles. And log forwarding must be added on security policy rules if you want all logs sent to the Cortex data lake, right? So we will cover that part as well in the configuration. So moving to the next part, that is your panorama and Prisma access. So whatever we have discussed just now, it is like this. Let's say for existing customers, Palo Alto saying that use panorama. Okay. For Prisma access management, just a minute, typo error. So use panorama for Prisma access management and receiving the logs. So your enterprise administrators, right, they can configure Prisma access service through panorama, right? Be it your templates, device group, And your Prisma Access nodes, if they are doing the processing, you will configure them to forward all the logs towards Cortex Data Lake. And then this Cortex Data Lake will be configured to forward all the logs back to Panorama. So basically, Panorama is not required for traffic processing. You know, it is just a management server. Like we use it for managing our firewalls. In the same way, we will use it to manage our Prisma Access service and receiving logs from the Cortex Data Lake, right? So you can also use panoramas in high availability, right? So if you have another panorama, so your primary active will be taking charge, and your secondary passive will have connectivity, but you cannot do the configuration of the Prisma Access service with it until unless this becomes active. Okay, so it will be in standby mode. So you can use this. You can use HA Panorama HA to manage your Prisma Access, but only primary active can configure it, right? Secondary passive cannot configure it until unless it becomes active if your primary goes down. Then when we talk about Prisma Access licenses, so you need core licenses to activate this service in your Panorama. First of all, you need to make sure that Panorama Access is deployed and managed by using Cloud Service plugin for Panorama. Panorama, let me write down all these details here. So basically, you would need Panorama, PanOS 0 or later one with it is preferred with Prisma Access 2.1 version. Okay, Panorama high availability deployment is optional, but it is recommended. Similarly, you need Cortex Data Lake license, right? So that you can forward the logs from all these nodes, RNSPN, your SCCAN, and your MUSPN, right? They can forward the logs towards the Cortex Data Lake. So you need that license. Then you need premium support. So this is required for mobile users and are in remote network bandwidths. Then for additional features, you need auth codes to activate those features, right? So auth code for like if you need to activate any particular feature for mobile user or remote network, then you need the respective auth code, right? So you can, if you want to increase the user limit, so by default it will come by 200, right, for mobile user. And if you have a license for more users, then you can activate it by using the auth codes. So basically how uh, Prisma is detecting your user count. Okay, so it's like a unique user is identified by a user ID. So as an example, a user could have 4 or 6 devices. They would count as only one if they are logged in by same username for their global protect. So Prisma Access can be licensed for as few as 200 users up to largest enterprise deployments. So minimum 200 user licenses there. If your user license is exceeded, then you need to reach out to your dedicated SE to get the enhancement, right? I mean, you can opt for more bigger license and you can activate it. So it will increase your user count. So from 200 users to 50,000 users, you need to purchase the licensing accordingly. So basically, there is a 90-day window. We will discuss about it, right? So it is like Palo Alto Network Service does track the number of unique users over the previous 90-day rolling window to ensure that you have purchased the proper license tier for your user base. So that's the reason, if you are oversubscribing it, make sure you inform your SE and get the proper license. So basically, in previous Prisma version, that is 1.7, the licensing and everything was not that flexible and it was costlier as well as compared to the competition. But in Prisma Access 2.0 model, we have use case, addition, Prisma Access locations, operational add-ons, right? The cost has been cut it down to compete in the market, and we have the share bandwidth option. So these are the options which have been enabled in your 2.0 Prisma Access version. So basically what they have done is like they have the flexibility now, right? Competitive pricing and greater value you are getting with new Prisma 2.0 version. So when we discuss about the package overview, what do you get, right? So you have use case, addition, Prisma access locations, and optional add-ons. This is the package. So use cases include mobile user security, branch office security, addition licenses tracks to the use cases, and Prisma access location allows sizing for both local and worldwide organizations. When we talk about add-ons, so it is going to include enterprise DLP, interconnect, right? To have mobile user to remote network connectivity, remote network to remote network connectivity, additional service connections, IoT device discovery, autonomous digital experience manager, that is your ADEM for user monitoring and experience, right? And when we talk about your Prisma Access Edition features, right? So what do you get? So basically in 2.1 licensing, we have business and business premium, right? So let me just make a note here. So in 2.1 licensing, what do you get? You get business and business premium. So where you can use this licensing. So this is for the environments where you want to secure your internet connectivity between your mobile users, offices, right? And the internet. So business and business premium licensing supports the onboarding of mobile users, remote networks, but no service connection. Here you cannot provide access to the internal applications hosted within your data center with the help of the service connection. So that feature is not supported here. So your private apps are not accessible if you go with business and business premium licensing. Okay. So that for that you need to switch to another uh, license. Okay. So then we have another license, that is ZTNA SEG. So zero trust networking architecture with signature detection. So it offers a solution for the situation that so many organizations facing right now. So with an increased requirement to support mobile users, ZTNA6 supports the secure enablement of mobile user to the internet and to data centers that support service connections and mobile user onboarding. Okay. Then we have enterprise. So enterprise is an encompassing license that provides the flexibility that Prisma Access has offered in the past. So these new licensing options are available in local and worldwide editions to support the varied needs that you may require based on location selection. So if you do not find the exact licensing solution that you require, you can contact your Palo Alto sales team, right? So in and so let's discuss about business edition features. What do you get? So in business edition, basically you will get the onboarding option for mobile users and branch offices with DNS security and URL filtering. So if I will draw the features here, so this is how it is going to look like. In compute locations, you can have MUSPN node, you can have RNSPN node with DNS and URL filtering features. So this is supported in business edition. This is for your branch. This is mobile. So if they want to access internet, SaaS applications, this is what is supported. But on the other hand, there is no service connection. So if you need to access your private applications, that cannot be done. Okay. So your data centers apps cannot be reached with business edition. When we talk about um business premium edition, so here what you get in addition to these features in business premium, you will get wildfire, you will get threat protection, right? So this is the additional features you get in business premium. Again, you don't get service connection option here. When we talk about ZTNA SIG, so that is for your mobile users only. So what you are getting in ZTNA 6, so this is for business and business premium. When we talk about ZTNA SIG, so here you will get option only for remote users. So your compute locations can onboard only MUSPN nodes for your mobile user. You will get threat protection, you will get URL filtering, right? You can internet access, they can access internet via these MUSPN node, your SaaS applications, and they will also get connectivity to service connection. Service connection. So SCCAN node will be there so that they can get access to private data centers or private apps. So basically your private apps, they will get access to service connection. So it is going to offer connections to internet, SaaS applications, private applications with threat prevention and URL filtering option. Okay. Then we have Enterprise Edition, the next licensing model. Enterprise Edition. So here what you are going to get in your compute locations, you can onboard MUSPN, that is your mobile users. You can onboard remote networks. You can provide, wildfire support, threat prevention, DNS, URL filtering, right? Whenever they are accessing internet or SaaS applications through Prisma access, internet and SaaS applications, right? You do get service connection option. So SCCAN is there to access your private applications. So private apps, be it hosted in your data center or public cloud. So with the help of the service connection, you can access these applications. So Enterprise Edition is going to allow mobile user onboarding, remote network onboarding, service connections with wildfire, threat prevention, DNS security, URL filtering, right? So this is your Enterprise Edition. What this does not offer is your interconnect. So that interconnect facility, if a branch needs to communicate with the branch or any mobile user needs to communicate with the branch, that is not supported in Enterprise Edition. Okay, that is your add-on. So enterprise plus net interconnect add-on, if you buy, then only that communication can be enabled. Okay, so that's the licensing piece. Then we have the tax support available. So if you run into any problem, then 24/7 tax support is there. So you can reach out to the tag and they are going to help you. Okay, so this is in general overview about your Prisma Access service. Now we are going to discuss about the shared ownership. You know, who is going to own what, right? So let's have a discussion on that. So when we talk about shared ownership, so basically it's like your customer is going to own, this is your customer infra. So customer is going to own users, authentication, and mobile device management. Customer will own policy creation and management, log analysis, and forensics. Okay. On-premises security, networking, monitoring, these are customer piece. Service connectivity, onboarding, Panorama Cloud Service plugin installation, all these comes under customer box. What comes under Palo Alto? Your cloud security infrastructure, right? So Prisma Access Cloud, backbone routing, your Cortex data lake infrastructure, that comes under Palo Alto. Your content update, your PanOS updates, your fault tolerance, auto scaling, provisioning of the nodes, right? Your service monitoring, that comes under Palo Alto bucket. So this is the shared ownership between Palo Alto and the customer. And they have clearly defined this, that you need to do the distinguish like this. Okay. So that's all in this particular video. We have a dedicated course available for Prisma Access. You can reach out to, you can visit to our portal and there you can enroll to the course. It is going to help you to design and implement the Prisma Access solution for your customers. Thanks for watching this video. Do hit a like button and subscribe to our channel.